What's up, everybody? It's the Hard DECONSTRUCTION. You can find us on Tumblr, Twitter. No, you don't find us on Tumblr. Twitter, Facebook, as well as Instagram. But mostly you can find us on YouTube. Give us a like and share us with your host, Komp and
Potent Fart.
today's film is...
Cabin in the Woods. The Cabin in the Woods, 2012.
The Cabin in the Woods, 2011.
The.
5 friends go for a break at a remote cabin where they get more than they bargained for, discovering the truth behind the cabin in the woods. Directed by Drew Goddard. Written by Joss Whedon and Drew Goddard. Starring Kristen Connolly, Chris Hemsworth, Anna Hutchinson, and a whole bunch of other people. There's some guy named Franz Kans as well. So, Denny, why did you pick Cabin in the Woods?
Because we've never done it, and it's like one of those movies you always hear about. So why not?
Yeah, so I'd seen this movie when it came out, right around 2011.
Look at this hipster.
This film was actually made in 2009, and it was under the MGM company. They were supposed to release it, but they just delayed. I remember hearing about this movie because I was a big Joss Whedon fan back.
Is this because he's Buffy, right?
Yeah, because of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. It was funny because I like Joss Whedon because of Buffy, but I never really watched anything else that he made. Like, I didn't watch Firefly, which is a show that...
That's one I always hear about.
And I saw the first episode, and I just had no interest in watching it, really.
Okay.
And then he also did a show called Dollhouse, and I didn't watch that either.
Welcome to the Dollhouse.
I did watch Avengers. I enjoyed that.
Wait, now
Avengers 2, not so much.
Let me ask. Oh, is that the Chris Hemsworth connection, I wonder?
Yeah, because of this, he told Kenneth Branagh to cast or to try out Chris Hemsworth.
So this is Chris Hemsworth first big role?
Collaboration with Joss Whedon. I don't know if it's first big role because this got released after Thor.
Oh, okay.
Or right before it, I believe, but it was shot years before. So,
okay.
What were you gonna say before that?
No, I was I don't remember. It was a dumb joke. I kept thinking of that Exit to Eden movie with Roseanne,
Rosie O'Donnell.
Rosie O'Donnell, and
the leather.
Yeah.
Whatever she was wearing.
What is the point of that movie? I forget
jumpsuit.
The whole plot. I just kind of have vague.
It was supposed to be like a sex comedy.
Like a Sex Island or something. But why was Rosie O'Donnell in it?
Because she was a big comedian at the time.
Okay.
I think it was supposed to. I think it was based on a novel,
Was she like a cop or something, like investigating?
Yeah, but I think it was one of those things. Like, can you remember when they had Rosie O'Donnell? Like, Rosie O'Donnell was like famous enough at a time that she was actually playing Betty Rubble. You know what I mean, Betty Rubble.
Yeah, she did a good job. I'm sorry, I think she did a good job as Betty Rubble.
She looked all right. Okay, never mind. Anyway, so Cabin in the Woods. I had wanted to see this film for the longest time. I'd heard about it in like 2007, maybe. And it was, in pre-production and stuff like that. I heard, Joss Whedon's working on a horror film. I was like, oh, fuck, horror, because Firefly and the other thing, Dollhouse, weren't really horror shows or anything like that, but Buffy was, and the horror comedy show. And I knew that Joss Whedon knew how to write characters, because obviously the characters in Buffy the Vampire Slayer are so fucking good. It's just the way that they interplay with each other.
So good.
And if
I've never seen it.
If you saw the first Avengers film, you could see how all the characters interacted with each other really well.
Yeah.
He's very good at having characters just talk to each other and it being funny and stuff like that. And that's why it's sort of missing from the new ones like Endgame and stuff like that. Sort of it's just like, let's just move the story along.
Well, there's so much now. But I don't know. I think that they did a really good job of giving every single character their
the thing
own
is
thing.
with the comparatively Avengers and Endgame, the first Avengers film compared to
there's
Endgame,
5 characters in Endgame. There's 50 characters.
Right. So you don't really have time to sort of see these characters interact. They're sort of like, let's just get that fucking glove. That's just it. Endgame, while the other film, they were just sort of cracking wise and getting to know each other. And now that all those films are sort of like the first ones, I guess they would assume as filler. They're just starting them out. And then anyway, whatever. Cabin in the Woods shows Joss Whedon was able to write characters. He still is. He's in a little bit in trouble now because I think he got Me Too'd as well. Because,
did he?
But it was it's sort of that gray area because he was married for a long. He was a huge feminist. He was always sticking up for women. But he had a wife, and then he dumped his wife to go fuck a lot of young women, I guess.
Okay.
And then she wrote a big article saying, "Oh, this guy used his power. who knows if he could really, these women really wanted to be with him or they were
okay,
afraid.
so
So it's one of those things.
I'm sorry, but like using your celebrity or like talents or whatever to get laid is not rape.
But the thing is, but I think what his ex-wife's thing was, like she could tell that she was jilted, she was jaded. But she might have a point. There are a lot of situations where guys, like I'm sure, like when Harvey Weinstein did it, he's a real scumbag, and he was like, oh God forbid if
he's
happened.
doing it that like their jobs
right.
on
So,
the
but
line,
the thing is,
then that's a different thing.
we don't know, and we haven't heard from any woman say, hey, just not yet, at least.
If he gets accused, then he's a piece of shit.
Yeah, right. So then, like, but there's nobody else besides the jaded wife. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
So it's sort of a gray area. But whatever. That deals with the political part of this show. And then also he had a huge falling out with Marvel, and with the direction that the second Avengers film went, the Age of Ultron, because he wanted to do more character stuff. He had to fight for, that scene with Hawkeye.
They should have listened to him. Jesus.
The scene with Hawkeye on the farm?
Yeah.
Like, he fought to have that scene. Like, they were like, no, just do more whatever bullshit that we want to
put in this movie. They should have listened to him, because that's the weakest link.
Yeah, the second one was a clusterfuck. Although people say that they start liking it on rewatches. I have no interest in seeing that one again.
Right, yeah.
So anyway, but basically he got knocked out of Marvel. Said, "Oh yeah, go fuck yourself." Because then they found the Russo brothers. Yeah. And the Russo brothers, who had done Captain America, Winter Soldier, more than enough competent.
Wait, let's talk about Cabin in the Woods.
Okay, I'm going into the past of Joss Whedon. So Joss Whedon. Okay. Then I guess he wanted to turn the screws onto Marvel when Zack Snyder was fired off of Justice League. They hired him as the replacement director. And Justice League is easily one of the worst films I've ever seen. And that is where Joss Whedon stands now. I think he writes the Angel comic book, who was a character from Buffy. He was supposed to do the Batwoman comic, but because of the fallout from that article that his wife wrote, now he's sort of in some sort of weird limbo. So who knows what's going on with him. Either way, Joss Whedon is a good writer. And he had a hand in this, as well as Drew Goddard. They both came off of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, because Drew Goddard was one of the producers and writers on the show.
Right.
And I think one of the main producers was a person named Marty Noxon. I really forget what the
Hey Marty.
Yeah, but I think Marty was a woman. I'm not sure. But anyway, I was always question about their gender. So this is basically people that made Buffy the Vampire Slayer taking their hand at a feature film. They apparently wrote this in 3 days, because Drew Goddard and Joss had separately had failures with their previous films. I don't know what their films were before this one. I assume maybe it was probably Serenity, which was the Firefly movie before this. But anyway, so this film is about what, Danny?
It is about a bunch of people that go to a cabin, and it turns out to be a ritual sacrifice that the government is overseeing to make sure that, like, Satan or something doesn't kill the world.
Yeah, so apparently, and I don't know, for the most part, I think it was well received for the people that saw it. They loved this film.
I've always heard good things about it.
Yeah, I've always heard good things. But I was just trying to figure out the disconnect between people, making money. Horror films make money. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Did this
and not? The basic premise. This I don't think it made as much money as it should have. I'm not sure.
Okay.
I could be wrong. I'm not sure. But anyway, it certainly, like, it's resonated with cults. So it's definitely a cult film, at least.
Yeah.
I don't know financially, because it got screwed over because of the timing. And
I never saw it. Like, I've always heard about it. I've always meant to see it, and I never did.
Were you aware of the twist?
I'm happy.
Were you aware of the twist before you seen it, or?
No, I knew. Okay. I knew that the world ends or something, but I thought, I took it as I'm watching it. I'm like, oh, they're gonna like nuke it or something to like prevent the monsters from getting out. Like, so I didn't know.
The basic storyline of the film is it's split narrative. It's your typical. And the first time I had seen this movie, I was sort of bored with the whole cabin in the woods aspect of it. I was more interested in the pencil pusher.
Well, that's the whole, like, trope.
Right, I get it. So, and because I've seen that so many fucking times, and they even like referenced it in the film many times. And I finally I was like, the first time when I saw it again today, I was like, you know what, this was a good fucking movie. I didn't think it was a
Yeah.
bad movie the first time I saw it. I was just like sort of bored by
It's
the.
kind of like Cube meets like some cabin in the woods horror movie or something. Like it's kind of like that, like Cube. Yeah, yeah. Wow, it really is though.
I don't see the connection, but that's
What do you
fine.
mean? It's like a government
Are
overseen.
they solving puzzles and
No, they're not solving puzzles, but it's just the idea of
It's
it's all.
absolutely nothing to do with Cube.
No,
I
it
don't
does. It
understand
does
that.
because it's all designed to like fuck them.
Okay.
There's putting
Um,
pheromones and shit. What was the part about the hair dye?
the hair dye was supposed to make her horny. I guess they had what happens
Okay.
is this underground facility. They basically pick and choose people to as a sort of representative sacrifice because they believe they do have the bloods already stored to give to the
Hmm.
gods. But this is the only one that was like a sort of a disconnect to me that they have to do this sort of ritual. I guess it is a ritual. Never mind. But it's a
Well, they want the suffering.
no, I get it. Yeah, they need the suffering from these people. But I it seems like a far leap to sort of do all these weird scenarios just to, just
Well,
to
that's
sort of.
that's why I'm saying it's
Did they
like
say how many?
cute.
Did they do this? What, every year or every how many years? I don't remember.
I don't know.
I didn't see because I would think like every year if a fucking giant ape was destroying a city, like people would catch on of something. Do you know what I mean? Because when
Right.
they showed at the end, because there's like they use tropes from different things. Like they
I
had a
love
king.
the Japan one.
Yeah, the Japanese one is like a Ringu type of
No, but I love how
character.
it turns into flowers and then a toad.
Yeah, and it's into a frog, happy frog. But I did like obviously the split narrative is with the teens, not teens, but college age people in the woods, led by a very cute Kristen Connolly. And I hadn't noticed that she was in her underwear in the beginning. It was very good.
You didn't
Um,
notice.
Chris Hemsworth, who at on the very first line you can hear his Australian accent, and then it turns to an American
Yeah,
accent.
that was the only part I kept noticing. It was like his accent. He's not good at an English.
Yeah, it was like, oh,
American accent.
and I was like, what the fuck? There's Anna Hutchinson who plays the blonde girlfriend Jules, Fran Kans who plays Marty, the sort of weed smoking crazy person. Jesse Williams. It was funny because oh yeah, I was like, where do I remember this guy from? And I realized he was this guy who was like, I. It's funny.
What else is he
He's
from?
like Jesse, huh?
Well, he's from Grey's Anatomy. It says here.
Right. He's like one of those really good-looking biracial guys. He's like half black, half white. But I
Okay.
guess he gets hired more for black films because he made a big speech on BET about.
Was he the first one killed? No, he wasn't.
No. He was like the second to last.
Okay, good.
No, he was the third to last, including the nerd and the
See,
girl.
not only
but Jesse,
not only is this
I
a good
remember
movie, but it fights racist tropes.
the half racist tropes.
Half-
What made me
yeah.
laugh about Jesse Williams, he made a big deal about how he was on BET and he gave a big speech about how white people steal from black people's culture.
Uh-huh.
Even though he's half white, and then I think he dumped his black wife for a white woman. So maybe he was stealing it back. I thought it was pretty funny.
I don't know.
So anyway, so that's those five people. They have a pretty good they have good repertoire between each other. Like Jesse Williams' character Holden is a decent guy because he's like there's a part where there's this. I love movies where they have really nice looking props, so like that painting with the people like killing those animals.
Yeah, that
and
was
stuff
great.
Like that. And he pulls it off and he looks through the window and he's able to see into Dana's room, Kristen Connolly's room.
Took
where
a
she's,
lot
like,
of
getting
willpower.
naked. Yeah, it took a little willpower. So I don't know what Danny would do in that situation. Actually, I think I know what Danny would do in that situation.
I would put the painting back. I would have never taken the painting down.
You would have
actually.
just you would have just jerked off to the painting of the
I
animal.
would have
dying.
exactly.
Anyway, and then Chris Hemsworth is called Kurt, and he's with his girlfriend Jules, and they're horny. But the thing is, what's funny is that they're all very smart people. They're very educated, well-educated characters, but because of the tinkering of this corporation or this whatever you would call these group of people, they're sort of dumbed down into the very the essence of sort of
Horror movie tropes.
horror movie tropes. And the only thing, the weird thing is that they decided not to fuck with Marty's weed, and that's what has been blocking whatever neural reception that they've been trying to mess with his brain. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
'Cause they
you would
explain
think
it.
they
They
would
said-
know that though.
Yeah, I think they would fucking lace his weed with something that would, be a little bit more like Xanax or some shit like that.
Yeah.
So the other split narrative is Richard Jenkins and Bradley Whitford playing.
God,
these
I would
sort
have
of,
such a panic attack if I was high and saw these things.
Yeah, but they were Richard Jenkins and Bradley Whitford played Sitterson and Hadley, respectively. There's also Amy Acker, who plays Lynn, who was on Angel, the series by Joss Whedon. And they're like these corporate types. I always laugh at the beginning where they're just sort of having this like stupid conversation, and the title of the film crashes up on screen like it's a horror film. That's what Drew Goddard said. He wanted people to purposely think that they walked into the wrong film for the first part of the movie.
That guy, Richard Jenkins, I think he's from this Ben Stiller movie, and he's like a cop in it. It's like a really good Ben Stiller movie.
Richard Jenkins is a very good actor, and Bradley Whitford obviously played the father in Get Out. And Richard Jenkins, he looks different.
Oh, yeah, and he's also the bad guy in Billy Madison.
Yeah, Richard Jenkins was also...
I forgot he was in Get Out. Holy shit.
He was in The Shape of Water. He plays the... wow, okay, he was in a lot of stuff that we've
Does
seen.
he only play bad guys, Eric, from Billy Madison?
No, he was a good guy in The Shape of Water. Who was he in Billy Madison? He wasn't in Billy Madison.
He was the main bad guy, the one that was
Bradley Whitford. I'm talking about Richard Jenkins.
Oh, okay,
Richard Jenkins, I'm sorry. But Richard Jenkins was in The Shape of Water. He plays like this gay artist. He's really good in that one. He's in Step Brothers, like playing the straight guy, and Step Brothers, everybody's like being stupid. Oops, I almost said the R word. And then he was the serial killer in Let Me In. Remember the little vampire movie? He's very, very good fucking actor. Excellent actor.
Yeah, he's like one of those people you just like know his face.
He was a character, and I think there was they would play the the Coen brothers. I don't know if
Do you think that the dad from 6 Feet Under and the dad from Dexter are friends in Ghost World?
But one of them was an imaginary guy, so...
They're both sort of imaginary because they're floating around.
Oh, that's right. I never watched 6 Feet Under. I heard it's like one of the greatest shows ever.
I feel like his ghost talks to one of the kids. It's been years.
I only saw the ending of 6 Feet Under because people said it's the greatest ending for a TV
show
ever.
I feel like Nate... was it? I got stuck on like the third season. I couldn't watch it anymore.
Really? What was wrong with it? Too boring?
Just too depressing.
Yeah, the ending is pretty
really
depressing too.
I know the main guy had like a brain tumor at one point.
Yeah. Basically, the end is a montage of every... You're never going to watch it, right?
Yeah, okay.
The montage of everybody, how they die in the future. That's basically how it is. It was interesting. It was pretty cool.
That's cool.
Like, I'd never seen it, but... Anyway, so there's a split narrative, and it's the corporate scenes are obviously the comedy parts, and then the cabin scenes are clearly the horror parts. Yeah. So it's a big jump between these two type of films, and they handle it pretty beautifully, I think. I think it's like one of the better sort of paced films. The movie's only like an hour and a half, and I didn't feel like it dragged on at all. I thought it was really good.
That's great.
When I first saw it, I thought it had dragged on because of the zombie shit.
And the finale is so good.
And there's it's so funny because they do have those tropes where you, like, anybody who's seen horror film, like, all horror movies are basically the same shit, unless they do some. Only the art house ones are sort of different, but even the art house ones sort of have the same sort of fucking endings that all horror movies have.
Yeah.
But like this one, like, there's a scene where they go into a room, and they go downstairs into the cellar or a basement of a room, and it's all fucking like knickknacks that if you messed around with it, a certain demon would come out. Like, they have their version of the box from Hellraiser, and they have some little ballerina. I just realized I guess if you played the ballerina toy, the little ballerina girl with the teeth face.
Is that the face teeth? Yeah. What would she do? I mean, she's not going to kill anybody with that.
She killed somebody, and they showed her in a room of blood dancing, so maybe she dances on people.
Yeah,
but it's a very funny scene because, and then they go the Evil Dead route. And when she reads the journal of this girl, which I like that scene. It was pretty creepy, actually. Yeah. Rewatching it. And, of course, it all goes to hell, and they all get hunted down. And I almost wish they didn't show that bird hit that thing at the beginning. So when you see Chris Hemsworth, like, motorcycle hits that wall, like, it would be more of a surprise. But I guess, you knew it was coming.
I actually didn't know it was coming. I thought he was just going to fall and not make the jump. And I thought that would have been funny, but then he hit that thing, and I really was like, oh, shit.
Yeah, I think what they did is, like, they did it because you know he's giving this big inspirational speech, and you know he's gonna die, and it's just funny that he just crashes himself.
I was convinced he was gonna like slip and fall down the hole or something.
Yeah, I thought it was, I think that what are things that stuck out to you that didn't work? Because I think it pretty much all worked for me.
I mean, honestly, there's nothing. This is a great film. I don't really have any criticisms of it.
And the weird thing is like this film, if they were able to make this film, this probably could have been the Roger Rabbit of horror films. Do you know what I mean? Where like they could have used different horror characters from actual.
Oh right.
Movie, but this movie obviously wouldn't have.
Like if they had Freddy Krueger killing someone.
Yeah, they wouldn't obviously have the budget for it. Like they could only show up for fucking that horrible Ready Player One movie, the Spielberg movie, where like, Chucky shows up and they do The Shining and stuff like that.
I mean, I think it's cool that they got like a obvious Pinhead sort of creature and like all this type of shit. That's cool.
Yeah, he was cool. I liked the way he looked and stuff. That was good acting in that scene when he's just standing there staring at her. I was like, that was pretty good. And I like the creature designs were cool. I like that. I actually didn't notice that little. It was like this little robot that looked like a.
Yeah, that guy's plane. Funny.
And it was just like, which one are you talking about? I'm talking about the yellow machine that had like.
Yeah, that's running around with saws on it and shit.
Yeah, that one. I love that one. That was great. There's obviously the merman joke that I knew as soon as he kept mentioning the merman, I was gonna be there. I was like, that's gonna be a fucking merman that kills him.
Yeah.
And then unicorn that kills somebody.
I like how the really merman is like just so fat and gross.
Which one?
The merman.
Yeah, I know. I thought it would be like an actual like guy or something like that, but they did it really well. What were things that stood out for you in this?
I mean, the finale really is like amazing.
It's great.
Though.
And then they bring out Sigourney Weaver because I think originally it was supposed to be who else? This was supposed to be some other actress. I think Jamie Lee Curtis. I'm not sure.
Sigourney Weaver is like really good as this type of a role.
Oh yeah, she's good. She's done this role a couple of times. She's good at that sort of corporate bad person. She was in The Defenders, which was a Marvel Netflix show. It was horrible, but she was like the bad guy.
Was it horrible?
Most of it. It was a waste of time. That's what it was. Like they
had the one with all four of them from Daredevil.
They basically had 4 seasons of shows, and then they had this thing that was supposed to be the big, bring them all together, and it was like. I was like, this is what they do? Like, this is what they do with this? It's bullshit.
I never watched half of the shows, honestly.
And then I saw, you should just watch Daredevil. It's pretty good. And
I've seen Daredevil. That's the only one I've seen.
Luke Cage Season 2 is fucking great. But anyway, so, yeah, and then she was also in this movie that I saw. This movie, it would piss off so many people. So many people knew about it. It was this movie, I think it was called The Assignment or something like that, and it's like she's the bad guy, right? And she does sexual reassignment surgery on Michelle Rodriguez. Michelle Rodriguez is playing a guy in the beginning of the movie, and then she turns her into a woman.
Right.
So she's like an assassin, but now she has no dick. I guess that's the whole point of the film. She's trying to hunt down everybody.
Okay.
It wasn't bad. It was just like
I was just watching it. Is hot.
Yeah, I never got into it. I think she was a little too tough for me. Although I do like butch women, so
it's kind of sexy.
So she can actually kick my ass. That's what's scary about it.
Like her in Lost was like.
But yeah. So I think she fucked Zach. She was dating it because I think she was mostly like she's gay. That's what I thought for the most part.
Yeah.
What, are you kidding me? She was like dating she was dating the girl from remember the Terminator 3
In my fantasies, every girl wants to have sex with me.
You know that blonde robot from Terminator 3?
Yeah.
She was hitting that for a while.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Oof. But then she was
was it the scene at the end where she's like all pinned down and freaking out and turning into a robot?
She's trying to scissor with her and it's just metal parts on her genitals and they're really hot. She's like,
and it's she's got like a plasma gun.
And then she keeps saying, "Come with me if you want to live." Anyway, but you gotta see that movie, The Assignment. It's just that's like a movie you gotta see with some people just drunk. It's hilarious. But but I forgot to say I think she was fucking that guy from High School Musical, Zac Efron.
Okay.
And she was seen dating him for a while, and I was like, why is she being bad to her people? That's fucked
Maybe
up.
She's bi.
If it was a guy, it should be me with Zac Efron. I mean her.
That's true.
Anyway, so what are we talking about? Oh, Cabin in the Woods. What can we really talk about this movie? This movie's good. Like, what the fuck are we supposed to say? It's a good movie, and I mean, I just read all the trivia for it, and now basically we just
There's probably so many. There's probably so many like little quick monster references that I missed.
So, what was your favorite monster? Was the merman?
No, I mean that was funny.
Okay.
I really did enjoy that like vampire bat thing that was flying around and shrieking and hurting all their ears.
Oh, okay. I like like I said, I like the look of the fake Hellraiser guy.
He was cool. I liked the giant snake. That would have been fun to see in a movie.
Yeah, the zombie people were sort of boring characters, the ones that they were fighting. I realized.
Yeah, but that was the joke almost. Like
I realized I recognized the little girl with one arm. Her name is. She's an actress named Jodelle Furlan, and I believe she actually worked on a show that Thea worked on. She's really pretty. The Jodelle Furlan. Now she was obviously a kid back then,
and a zombie, but now she had one arm.
Adult. But it's good. We're just gonna fucking beat a dead horse with this shit. It was good.
It's good. It is good.
Yeah, go watch Cabin in the Woods. I'm sure if you're listening to this episode, you're seeing it and you're waxing. What the hell is it?
There's zero possibility of a sequel. Obviously,
this movie didn't make any fucking money. It didn't make that much money to get a sequel. If this movie had made money,
it made more than double what it was worth.
Okay. So
it was a budget of $30 million, and it made.
I did remember hearing. They're making a sequel to Cabin.
It made $66.5 million. If it made $66.6, that would have been awesome.
And apparently on trivia, because I thought they were fighting the Elder Gods, like Lovecraft gods and stuff. That would make sense. But apparently, it's supposed to be the hand of Kronos.
Oh, like time?
Yeah. So that's supposed to be.
Is Kronos evil?
I guess he's like a god, right? So gods are neither good nor bad. They just wake up and fuck.
Did you ever see the movie Kronos?
No, I've heard about that. That's the Ron Perlman movie, right, with Guillermo del Toro?
It's
like a vampire movie, right?
Yeah, I think so. It's been years, but it's like it's like an old man.
Great.
It's like an old man that like, and it's like a grandpa, and he starts somehow I forget the whole fucking thing, but I remember liking it. But I remember the main guy was like this nice grandpa, and it started like corrupting him.
And does Ron Perlman spend his time yelling about the president too, like he does now? That's all he does.
Does he do?
That's all he does on his Twitter. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, I don't blame him.
And then like all the fans of that motorcycle show that he was on, the Sons of Anarchy.
They're all
they're all real like right wingers, and they're all like offended now. They're like, "Hey man, you used to be fucking cool. Now you just hate the president, man. That means you hate America." So that's all it is. They don't realize he's a fucking actor. Anyway, oh boy, this is a good movie. And Drew Goddard went on to direct a trailer. I saw the trailer; it looked really good, and I actually have the movie, but I haven't watched it yet. He did film called Bad Times at the El Royale, stuff like that.
Okay.
But now, he's on to directing. He's doing.
I want to get pheromones that increase libidos and hair dyes. I could use any.
I'm sure you can. I'm sure there's. I'm sure there's legal stuff.
I'm not talking about it. I'm just saying, like, I would have a nightclub, and I would spray that shit everywhere, and everybody would like love my club.
There was a movie called Perfume that was a horror film like that. It was about a guy who create perfect perfumes. I think he killed people and took their pheromones.
Isn't that Love Potion number 9?
No, they killed people in it. They're on, and people become insatiably horny for each other, and then it has like the most comedic ending. I remember laughing at the end of the
we should watch that.
Yeah,
did you ever see a movie called Popcorn or something?
I've heard about that film. We never saw it, but I heard about it. I remember the poster scaring the shit out of me. It was like a skeleton in a movie theater, right?
Yeah.
That poster would spook me so bad. Anyway, everybody, go see Cabin in the Woods. What would you give it?
I'm gonna give this a 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10. Foreshadowing your own death at the hands of a fat, flopping around merman who then sprays your blood out of his blowhole.
Well, no shit. Drew Goddard was an executive producer on Daredevil and The Defenders. What did he do on The Defenders? And he also produced Lost. So there you go.
Okay.
Who gives you shit? I also would give it a 9. I would give it a 9 out of 10. Watching your girlfriend commit fake bestiality on a wolf head. They put powdered sugar and a fake tongue in the wolf's mouth so she could be fine with the scene.
Is that true?
Yes, that was in the trivia. Why would I randomly make that up? What would be the point?
Well, do some quick fun trivias really quick.
No, you do. Okay.
I don't know them.
This is the first time when you're like, do more for the episode. All right, hold on. Let me
just two.
Why?
Choose
Why
two.
do you care about this? All right, trivia. During the lake scene, the only student not to jump into the lake is Marty, who remains fully clothed on the dock. That's the weed guy. This was partially due to Fran Can's noticeably being in as good, if not better, shape than the other male students. In the commentary for the film, the writers joke that he was ripped like a muscular Jesus, and assert that if Marty were shown being that fit, it would ruin the character. This partly is also why Marty wears baggier clothes than the other students. Ah, see, he was muscular and sexy, and the girls would have left him. The Latin that Dana reads from the diary is blah 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 blah. It means pain outlives the flesh, pain raises the flesh, pain ignites the spirit. There you go. And one more.
Ooh.
The being with the golden sphere is named in the credits as Fornicus, Lord of Bondage and Pain. That's the fake Hellraiser guy. According to the director, the scene that tested the highest with the audience was the merman sequence. So there we go. So with that, Danny, what's the final word?
Ravine.
The horror deconstruction.